Hey guys, we're back with another episode of Exploring Careers, and today we're lucky enough to be joined by Bongani from the Queensland Rail team. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Mitchell. Happy to be here.
No, excited to get into it, excited to get into this one. Now, my first question, it might seem obvious because it is, who are Queensland Rail and what do you do? Now, the answer's probably in the name. I'm imagining it's something to do with the rail network up in Queensland. Yeah. But will you be able to elaborate on that a bit more, please?
Sure. Queensland Rail is a railway operator in Queensland. So we operate local and long distance passenger services. And we also own and maintain our own, I think about 6,600 kilometres of track and infrastructure as well. So we essentially move customers from point A to B.
Perfect. No, makes sense. And what do you do there? So what's your day-to-day role?
So my day-to-day role is a business operations officer, fancy title for jack of all trades. My role is very diverse. So no 2 days are the same. So I can go from writing a board paper to coming up with a safety initiative to drafting policies to organising barbecues or training. So I think I can honestly say that my role, no 2 days are the same. So I love it.
Perfect. And how did you end up, in this role with Queensland Rail? Is it something you always kind of were thinking about back at school, or did you just kind of happen to fall into it? How did that all transpire?
So finished high school, went straight to uni. I did a Bachelor of Business, majored in HR. And I worked in HR for a bit, but I was still unsure about what I really wanted from my career. And I came across the Queensland Rail graduate program in 2019. So I applied for that, hoped for the best, and here I am. So I went through the graduate program, which is a 2-year program, and applied for this role, and I was successful. So really happy to be continuing on with Queensland Rail.
Awesome. And what was it about the graduate program when you were, going through uni, and I'm sure you were sussing out a few options and what different opportunities are available to you? What was it about the Queensland Rail grad program that stood out?
I think probably the opportunities and the development that they invest in you. So from the beginning, we had a 2-year soft skills / essential skills program, so that it gets you through networking, some project management modules, basic time management. So the basics you sort of need to, I guess, succeed in a full-time corporate type of role, and also the opportunities to progress. So I've gone from a graduate role to a operational role. Like I said before, I'm a business grad, so I never expected to end up in an operational world wearing high vis. So it's the opportunities are endless in Queensland Rail, and it's very clear to me as well.
Perfect. And you've obviously been with Queensland Rail a couple of years now and have been in the system a little while. So what makes it such a great place to work? What's so good about Queensland Rail, do you think?
I guess if I would go the people, definitely the people. It's a good team. Everybody's passionate about what they do. They're an expert in their field as well. Also our own purpose. So our purpose is to connect communities. So we run passenger services in SEQ, as well as long distance, so all the way up to Cairns. I think everybody's passionate about that. And also, who doesn't love trains, right? If you're a train buff, it is the perfect place to work. If you need transportation, point A to B, it is also a great place to be and really understand, I guess, the daily operations of a railway.
Yeah, cool. And I wanted to touch on that a little bit more as well, because I guess people would have a few preconceptions and perhaps misconceptions about what it would be like working in the industry, or for Queensland Rail in particular, because you might see the name and go, okay, Queensland Rail, it's either going to be working on a train, being a train conductor or a ticket inspector, kind of those obvious roles, which I'm sure are there, and I'm sure there are wonderful opportunities there. But what are some of the things people probably wouldn't know immediately, when you think of a Queensland Rail, for example?
Yeah, I think you're right. People when they think Queensland Rail, they picture your typical train driver, your customer service people, the guards, engineers, but there's a lot more to us. So we have roles in HR, we've got finance, we've got track maintenance gangs, data analytics, lawyers, accountants. The list is endless. We have a range of roles available, and yeah, it's really about where you want your career to go as well. So like I started in a HR stream, but I'm now in the operational world. So yeah, it's a great place to be, and there's a lot more variety than what you see. There's a lot more critical roles in the background that do really important work. Yeah.
Perfect. No, and I think that's important for people to understand and get an idea of, that it's not just what you would immediately think of. Yes, of course, if you want to be a train driver, then I'm sure those opportunities are available, but there's a lot more to it that you wouldn't immediately think of. So that's great to know. You touched on briefly before about the culture and the people at Queensland Rail and how amazing the people are. Can you talk a bit more about, I guess, away from work, kind of the things you get up to when you're not, drilling down on a certain task, whatever it may be? The kind of things you get up to, the kind of opportunities outside of traditional work that Queensland Rail provide, if that makes sense?
Could you elaborate on that one?
Yeah, so are your friends at work, are they your friends outside of work as well? Do you get up to much outside of the office? Are there certain activities or programs that Queensland Rail run to, make it more exciting than just your traditional 9 to 5?
Internally, we have networking events. We'll have International Women's Day events. So that's a good opportunity to meet people and also create those friendships. We'll have things like barbecues. So we had a barbecue a couple of weeks ago just to thank our staff for all the work they've done for the flood recovery as well. I've made really good friends with the fellow grads who were in my cohort at the time. So a couple of weekends ago, we had brunch together and went to Netherworld, which is an arcade here in Brisbane, and just sort of hung out and had a fun afternoon. So you do create friendships. I guess you're at work a couple of hours a day. So yeah, over time, you definitely have those friendships, and it's good to catch up outside of work and just be. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's really important, because that work-life balance, I don't think has ever been as important as it is today, and important when young people are making future career decisions, to make sure that they have a good work-life balance, and it's not something people are not looking forward to, being in an environment that helps you grow and develop and you can have a good time. So no, that's really good to know. Now, the future of work is a hot topic across a lot of different industries at the moment, especially given everything which we've gone through throughout the world over the past few years, and especially, I guess, in the Queensland Rail field, because engineering is a big part of it. There's a big focus on STEM fields at the moment, especially with getting more young women involved in STEM and engineering specifically. So what would you say the future of work looks like at Queensland Rail?
That's a tough one, because I think across, like you said, the globe, the future of work is changing. So I have friends who work remotely full-time, others who have a hybrid working arrangement, and we have a similar model here in Queensland Rail. Obviously, not all roles you can work from home, but where it's possible, you do have that opportunity. We do also have our own internal QR Women program. So we are developing internal female staff to, I guess, help them succeed and, become future leaders and get more women on board. So yeah, definitely STEM programs and STEM degrees are needed for the future of the railway, because we have a shortage, and we're aware of that.
Cool. And last question I'll leave you on, it's one I always like to ask at the end of these, is if you could go back in time and have a chat to yourself while you're back in, maybe year 9, 10, 11, because it's obviously a very difficult time. You're asked to make a lot of decisions when you're a teenager, and you've really got no idea what day it is, let alone what you're going to be doing in 5, 10 years' time. But you're asked to make subject choices, which then lead into further education choices, and even if you're going to go off to further education or straight into the workplace. So what I'm saying is it's a very complicated time, very stressful. So knowing now what you know now and all the experiences you've been through, what's some advice you'd give your younger self, or better yet, 20 young people watching this today?
I'd probably say your career or your life post high school, it won't be a straight line. I guess when I picked my subjects back in year 10, I was like, oh yeah, I'll be an architect. I'll choose the architect field, but ended up going for a business degree. So just say yes to opportunities and just do it. I know it's scary, but you never know where it'll take you. I never thought I'd be in the railway industry, but here I am and I love it. I can honestly say I love my job. So yeah, don't be too hard on yourself.
No, I agree. And the old Nike adage, just do it. I think that's a perfect way of putting it. Just keeping your mind open, having a crack at a range of different things, and you'll find your way, by doing that. I think it's important not to pigeonhole yourself, and especially don't let other people pigeonhole you into what you should be doing or what your future should look like, or what you should be studying. I think it's important to keep an open mind, try different things, and you'll find your way. But it has been so great talking to you today. Of course, if anyone wants to learn more about Queensland Rail, then you can head to the Queensland Rail profile on explorecareers.com.au. Otherwise, we'll leave all the relevant links and socials below, so you can go and do your own investigation and see if Queensland Rail is potentially right for you as a future employer. But thank you so much for your time again today. It's been great chatting with you.
Thanks, Mitchell. Good luck.